What's up, guys? Lights out here again to talk with you guys today about something that's obviously very important because I would have taken part of my day to do this video. Okay, so be sure if you guys get some value from this, you go ahead and hit that like button at the end, subscribe if you're not already, and let's jump right into this. Okay, let's talk a little bit about real estate. As you know, that's what I do. I like to talk real estate. Okay, right now everybody knows 2017. I don't know other markets, but here in Los Angeles, it's crazy competitive. Okay, so to buy or not to buy is really going to be the title of this video. All right, I get that question a lot. Okay, people ask me, my perspective. How do I look at the market? Like, do I think it's a good time to buy? Essentially, is what people are asking, right? To be honest with you, okay, this might go against everything that you know and everything that you paid the freaking $1,500, $5,000 that seminar taught you, right? But honestly, there's never a good time to buy, right? When you think about it, because what most people are asking is the price low enough for me to pay it now and still make money, right? And the answer is yes, always. It always is low enough. Even if it seems high to you now, it's always low enough. It's always low enough. Here's an example, right? Somebody purchased a home right here in LA. There's certain neighborhoods in LA where people who bought their house there, I don't know, 30 years ago, probably paid 20 to 40, 50 even $1,000 for that house. And at the time, what do you think $40,000, $50,000 was for a house? That was freaking lot of money, dude. People were like, are you crazy? Why are you buying this house? That's $40,000, $50,000 per house. That's way too expensive. People almost talk them out of it, right? Now, fast forward 30 years later, that same house that somebody paid 40 grand for, do you have any idea how much I'm seeing some of these houses go for, right? Millions, literally millions. Seriously. Like, there's certain neighborhoods here in Los Angeles, okay, that are being influenced, and I'm going to save that for another video, by certain things, and it's driving the price through the roof, right? So it's like, do you think people are still buying that same house that cost $40,000 30 years later for $2 million? Well, the answer is yes. They actually are. So that's my point. There's never really an ideal time to buy. What people basically are subconsciously trying to find out is if it's Black Friday, right? And it's so funny I'm making this video. It's literally Black Friday is what, a week or so from today? Yeah, today's Thursday. Thanksgiving is a week from today. So yeah, people, they want to know, hey, is it Black Friday? Is everything 50% off? That's the time to buy, right? I'm going to wait for Black Friday. Think of how crazy that sounds. That sounds even crazy hearing myself say that. Think about that, right? If you in March needed clothes or whatever, a TV or whatever else it was, you needed it for your new home or for your new job, you needed to buy something, would you really go and wait all the way until November, till Black Friday, when stuff is like heavily discounted, to buy the item that you need to buy, the shirt that you need to buy, the TV that you wanted to watch the big game on? No, you wouldn't, right? The reality is you would get it right then in that moment. If you got a discount, great. If not, not a big deal, right? Because you need the TV or the pair of slacks or whatever, at that moment. So that's the point that I'm getting at. There's never really an ideal time to buy. The time to buy is now, always, and forever. It always will be, because like I just gave you in that example, money is moving. That's what currency means, dude, is movement. Money is always moving. So the question is, what direction is it moving in? Well, in real estate, it's always moving up. Always moving up. And you could just trace back the history on properties, and you can literally see what stuff was selling for back 30 years ago and see what people are asking for it now. So that goes to tell you that, and that goes for any market. I don't care whether you're here in Los Angeles or you're in freaking Little Rock, Arkansas. Okay, it does not matter. Like, the value of real estate, being that it's something that's in such high demand, whether people want to have it or not, causes the price to continue to rise over time. Okay, and really, I think honestly, it's due to inflation. If you really want to take it on that, down that path, it's really obviously inflation. But really, I feel like it's the demand for it is, yeah, it's increasing, and that's why you see here in LA, there's like I can't even count how many cranes I see in the air. GC does the same. When you see cranes in the air, beware. He's essentially saying that you're at the top of the market when you see a bunch of new building going on. Well, I don't think that's always the case. It could be, it could be, but I know here, a fact, in Los Angeles, the demand for rental property is just going through the roof because it's actually cheaper to rent here than it is to own. And that's kind of what I want to segue into a little bit right now too. It's like, it just depends, and people ask me that, should I buy or should I rent? Well, it just depends on your situation, right? Again, like I follow GC pretty heavily. He has a saying that I pretty much live by too. It's like, live where you can rent or rent where you live and own what you can rent to other people. I can't even think, because just like if you just look at like $1 million house, for example, like I'm looking at a couple of these different options, right? Like purchasing $1 million house over here on the west side, right? It's $1 million house. It's going to take you about 200 grand to put down. The payment's going to be about $5,000, right? But the whole thing is that money that you got to put down, that 200 grand that you got to put down. Well, if you're a business owner, dude, or somebody who looks at numbers, differently, $200,000, dude, what can you do with $2,000? Like, what kind of return can you get on $2,000? What you tend to start to think about. And then on top of that, you have to go and pay $5,000 a month. Now that's with everything included with the mortgage, insurance, taxes, and all that. But to pay $5,000 a month on top of that, after putting $200,000 down, it does not make any financial sense whatsoever, literally. Because if you could take that same $200,000 and spread it in a bunch of different businesses and get, 30, 40, 50% ROI, why in the hell would you put down that $200,000 on a house where you're going to have to come out of pocket to make that monthly payment? Now, I'm literally going to do a video on this, but that goes back to say what Robert Kiyosaki says, what GC talks about, is your house is not an asset, which I kind of agree and disagree at the same time with, because yes, the house isn't 100% an asset, but is it an asset? Yes, it is. The reason why it's an asset is because there are gains, there are monetary gains. The reason why they're saying that it's not an asset is because those gains aren't realized. And since they aren't realized, what else is there on the other side, the liability side of it too? You're having to pay out the mortgage, you're having to pay out the insurance, you're having to pay the upkeep, maintenance, whatever it costs, you're having to pay for that, right? But the gains that you're building through the equity is not realized yet. But once you go and sell it or rent it out, immediately now it becomes an asset. So that's kind of, my take on that. But no, this is kind of just to wrap up. I think it's important to just understand that it's always the right time to buy. The time to buy is always going to be now. And I literally just proved why it's always the time to buy. So you don't ever have to be concerned, oh my God, am I buying at the wrong time? It's the top of the market. Well, the reality is, yeah, the market may come down, but it always comes back up. And more often than not, it comes back up higher than where it was before it left off, okay? So I'm gonna end this video here. You guys, make sure that you like the video. If you feel like you got some value from it, drop a comment, screw it, drop a comment. Be sure to subscribe if you're not already. And until then, we'll see you guys on the next one.